Hi everyone, welcome to my fifth vlog where I'll be looking at agility drills. The drill I have chosen to use could be classified as an intermediate level agility drill that may be utilised by team sports players. The drill begins with the athlete reacting to the stimulus of the coach bouncing a ball. The athlete then accelerates forwards where they receive a verbal command of which side to cut to, then they make a 45-degree turn and accelerate for 5 metres. With the inclusion of the reactive element, this drill could be considered a true agility drill. However, due to the limited movement options, the complexity of the drill remains relatively low. As outlined by Young and Farrow, agility performance is dependent on both perceptual decision-making factors and an athlete's change of direction speed. As the perceptual element of the chosen drill is relatively simple, the analysis of my performance will focus on my change of direction ability. When analysing my first attempt at the drill, there would appear to be several skill-based issues affecting the performance of the linear sprinting and change of direction elements of the practice. Initially focusing on the linear acceleration element of the drill, my angle of acceleration is around 66 degrees. A more optimal angle of acceleration is likely to be closer towards 45 degrees, allowing for a greater amount of force being directed towards horizontal acceleration. This upright body posture is also combined with limited hip flexion of the swing limb that ends prior to toe off. This results in a lack of triple extension of the support limb, further reducing the force directed towards horizontal acceleration. To improve this skill, I isolated the linear acceleration component, completing between 5 metre and 10 metre accelerations. I focused on ensuring I had continual hip flexion of the swing leg throughout stance to ensure I achieved full triple extension of the stance limb. By doing this, I was able to greatly improve my angle of acceleration and also my degree of hip flexion of the swing limb. I feel I benefited most in this aspect through using a constraints-based method such as kneeling starts. This forced me to a low hip position where I required a rapid triple extension of the stance limb and a rapid flexion of the swing limb. This drill also assisted me in ensuring I produced a maximal arm drive to assist with forced application into the ground. Having spent time practicing linear acceleration, I moved on to focus on deceleration mechanics. In my initial attempt at the drill, my body position during the deceleration phase is very upright once again. I used a strategy of leaning back with my shoulders in order to slow down. The technical model for deceleration suggests deceleration should be achieved through making ground contact with the heels and also lowering the centre of mass through flexion of the hips. This allows the athlete to achieve a balanced position, ensuring they are able to react to their next stimulus. Focusing on cues such as shoulders forward, hips back and sit low, I was able to improve my deceleration mechanics in a simple linear closed skill practice. To progress this drill, I increased the speed from which I was required to decelerate from. As indicated by the yellow lines, following practice of this, I was able to lower my centre of mass through the hips rather than a backwards torso lean. The next phase of my practice focused on the change of direction element of the drill. As previously highlighted in my initial attempt at the drill, when turning, my centre of mass remains relatively high. Also, I take a very short step in the direction I intend to travel. This ultimately results in a slower turn and re-acceleration phase. To develop this skill, I began with a simple side shuffle to run drill. Shuffling into a line before taking an exaggerated step in the direction I intended to travel and pushing off through both limbs as forcefully as possible. Focusing on cues such as sit low and push through the ground as hard and as fast as possible, or push your foot out of the side of your shoe, assisted me when trying to increase my base of support when changing direction. I then progressed this drill into a more similar pattern to that seen in the original drill. However, a shorter run in was used to reduce the braking requirement while execution of the change of direction was focused on. When practicing these agility skills, I found the change of direction to be the most challenging component, especially when turning off my right foot. This was not easily corrected through verbal cues or video feedback. Despite attempting to widen my base of support when changing direction, I seemed unable to take a longer step. This may indicate some capacity-based limitations, specifically the strength, power and reactive strength of the lower limbs, especially on the right side. In addition to weight room-based strength and power exercises, field-based unilateral explosive and plyometric exercises may help develop some of the stretch shortening cycle capacities that may be deficient, negatively influencing my change of direction, specifically the speed of which I can change from eccentric to concentric action. Following the practice of the various components of the drill in a more closed skill environment, I was able to improve my performance slightly on the original drill, completing it 0.68 seconds quicker. I feel I benefited most from the drills where I focused on and was cued to lower my centre of mass. In the original drill, I thought I was doing that, however, on seeing the video, I was not. Therefore, video feedback may be a useful tool if an athlete is struggling with an awareness of their body position.